So fans are obliterating, at least this is CBR's words, the Book of Boba Fett finale. Now, I'll say this about the finale. Um, I thought the finale, it was decent. It was okay. Uh, was it one that I was on the edge of my seat? No, I really wasn't. It felt like a really, I don't know, a film or a series, an episode that just had a lot of the same, back characters, and they just kept using them and using them and using them. That's the way it kind of felt when it come to the whole Pike fight. I just felt like it was just cheaply made. Let's just put it that way. The way that it looked like you would see Din Djarin running, it seemed like he was running in the exact same place every time he was trying to run from the scorpion bots. Like it just, I don't know. It just felt like stock footage in a lot of different ways. But I'm just gonna go over my entire thoughts over the Book of Boba Fett season one. Um, the finale, like I said, it didn't blow me away like the Mandalorian season two finale did, or even the Mandalorian season one. It definitely didn't get me more excited about the next season of it, and it didn't convince me that there needed to be a second season of this in the first place. Um, I'll admit, the first 3 or 4 episodes of it I thought were utter garbage. And let's just go ahead and let's talk about the Tuscan Raiders and the flashback scenes. Um, those were some of the worst flashback scenes I think I've ever seen, really almost in anything. I mean, my eyes rolled every time, and it wasn't even me doing it on purpose. It's just I naturally just went up there simply because um, it was so boring. Like it was just a reaction at this point of when Boba Fett gets in the back to tank and he goes and we're having to see him live with the Tuscan Raiders and take on, their ways. Um, and that was supposedly the change in Boba Fett. I personally just did not think that was very convincing. It just didn't feel like there was anything there. Like, yes, they might have saved him, but it's like, so he stopped being ruthless because he lived with the Tuscan Raiders for a while, which are pretty vicious people. Like, I mean, ask Anakin Skywalker what he thinks of them, and you'll probably get a completely different answer. So the idea that they somehow made him into a gentler Boba Fett was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now I've been having an argument, even with my 5-year-old son, over this show. He loves it. He loves everything about this. And so I try to pick his brain about it, even though he's completely and totally new to Star Wars, as to why he really loved this show. Um, and besides, the monsters, the fighting, things along those, something you'd expect from a 5-year-old, which normally I'll admit usually entice me. But I mean, as I've said in previous reviews of this show, um, they had Danny Trejo, a Rancor, Boba Fett, and a chase scene all in the same episodes, and it was still terrible. It was still terrible. How can that even be possible? I've asked myself that every single time I've watched that episode, is how can this be as bad as it is? The guy that plays Boba Fett, Tamura Morrison, or if I'm mispronouncing that name, he was good at that role 20 years ago. He does not play that role very good anymore. He just doesn't. He does not play that role good at all. It's very confusing. It's very weird, especially the Cad Bane scene. When Cad Bane was talking about when Boba Fett was a child and he's calling Cad Bane an old man. And I'm like, dude, you're like 70. Like, and you're calling him that, and that didn't even fit with the timeline. I mean, from the best of my knowledge, like it doesn't seem like he should be like, that old looking at this age. It's just to me, it's just so crazy that we've got um we got this version of Boba Fett. I was going into this series thinking this is going to be guns blazing, ruthless Boba Fett. That's what they tried to present when he took over, as crime lord. We were going to get that Boba Fett with Fennec Shand as his basically the person that's his enforcer, and that would have been really cool. The Boba Fett that we saw in The Mandalorian that just completely annihilated anybody in his way felt like an older, like a 20-year-old older version of Boba Fett from even what he was in the Mandalorian series, which is impossible. Like we never got to see that Boba Fett. We never saw the Boba Fett from the Mandalorian. And look, I hate to say it, but it's the honest truth. The Mandalorian is a far superior show than what the Book of Boba Fett is. Far superior. It even has a better Boba Fett in it. Like that's saying something when its version of Boba Fett is better than the Boba Fett series version of Boba Fett. With the Boba Fett that's a crime lord, it's still the Mandalorian's version is still better than it. Um, so many things to me were wrong with it. First, you have the fight scene with what is his name, Chrysanthemum, um, and that's the Wookiee, and he just completely and totally gets demolished. It was one of the worst fight scenes that I've ever seen in Star Wars. It was just really bad. It looked like he had no chance in the world. He got saved by a bunch of teenagers with a little pointy knife that looked like something out of like a 1950s gang flick. Like, I mean, that's the way it looks. Um, and then he saves Phoenix Shan by taking her to a modder. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this person straight up goes and creates like robot parts for like human beings, like if they want to enhance their eyesight. And then he's like, "Here, I got a dead woman here. Bring her back to life." What? Like, I mean, I was thinking like, why didn't the modder just be like, "Dude, I'm I don't do that. I'm not a doctor." Like, I'm not, that's not me. That was such a stupid scene there. It was one of the scenes that felt so less like Star Wars than really anything that's come before it. I mean, it felt like something out of like some kind of futuristic video game, but it didn't feel like anything that was Star Wars related. I mean, you gotta realize we were on Tatooine for goodness sakes. And then the kids on the Vespas. Like, why did they have to be color coded? Like, seriously, why did they have to do that? Why couldn't Boba Fett stand up to them? Instead, he just kept, they just kept telling him off every single time. And he's like, whatever, I'll do what you say. Like, that just pissed me off. It pissed me off when they first introduced, and it definitely pissed me off in the season finale where the girl from that gang uh, of Vespas goes and says, "Oh well, you're not going to go fight in this, your palace. We'll fight here." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're fighting here." I thought you were the crime lord. Like I could just imagine somebody saying that to Kingpin. Like, "Hey man, no, we're going to fight here." He'd be like, "Crack." That'd be the end of the person. That would be the end of the person. He would just snap their head, and that'd be the end of it. I was expecting Boba Fett to do the exact same thing, but of course we never got to see that. We got to see the loving Boba Fett, the one that cares about the Sand people, the one who um these Tuscan Raiders, the one who doesn't like to rule by fear. He wants to rule by honor. all of this stuff. Well, you're a bounty hunter, dude. Like, honor is as a bounty hunter just seems ridiculous. This wasn't the Boba Fett that we got. Even I mean, you could say, well, it wasn't the Boba Fett we got in the original trilogy. It definitely wasn't the Boba Fett we saw in with Cad Bane in the Clone Wars. It wasn't even that Boba Fett. That Boba Fett cared very little bit about honor. He cared about making a buck, you know? I mean, it just it was just a bad show. Just when it comes down to it, it's just a bad show. The only thing that I would say was redeemable about it was I thought Cad Bane did a really good job. I thought Phoenix Shan was really interesting in it, and again, I think Din Djarin and even Grogu took the spotlight away from Boba Fett. And to me, as much as I enjoyed those episodes, that was the moment that I realized this show's a failure because I dreaded when they went back to the Book of Boba Fett. I dreaded when they went back to Boba Fett. I enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett as the Mandalorian. I did not enjoy the Book of Boba Fett with Boba Fett. That's sad. That is sad when you get shown up in your own show by someone else who has their own show that has a better version of you in it. I mean, think about that for a second. That's how bad the Book of Boba Fett actually truly is. And then, of course, you can say, well, the Sarlacc thing, one of the coolest scenes was him going into the Sarlacc pit to get his armor, and then, the Sarlacc coming to life and, trying to eat him again. That would have been a really cool scene until logic sets in and be like, dude, you got out with your armor. Why are you looking in the Sarlacc for an armor that you never left behind in the first place? Made absolutely no sense to me. Made absolutely no sense to me. I don't know. Like I said, this show has so many things wrong with it. Everything from bad storytelling to I feel like it goes in the right direction only to um, pull back at the last minute and not give it a fulfilling ending. That's the way it did. Like I said, you had a car chase, but you made it sucky because it was just, I don't know, it felt like something that you would expect from a really, I know, kid friendly Disney Plus series. Um, then you had, of course, the Cad Bane. I mean, not the Cad Bane, but the book of. Sorry, getting tongue tied. Boba Fett. You had him taking on, let's say, the mayor, and instead of, like, I don't know, trying to shoot everybody, he actually sits there and waits patiently for the mayor to take his call. And when Phoenix Chan goes and shows a gun, he's like, "Don't you think that's a little heavy handed? You're a freaking bounty hunter. Like, you worked for Darth Vader, and you're saying that's a little heavy handed? Come on, man. Like, it's just ridiculous." Like I said, the best part of it was when he wasn't in it. That's just the honest truth about it. Does this show have potential? Nah, I don't think it has potential. I don't think they should make a season two of it. I really don't. It's one of those shows like with especially at the finale where everybody, just makes it out alive. It's one of those shows that no matter the circumstance they're in, they're coming out of it. And those shows are always the most boring of shows. No, I do not believe the Book of Boba Fett needs to exist. I think one and done is what they should do, probably not what they are going to do. And let the Mandalorian take over that role, and maybe he can guest star on that and be that Boba Fett because that was a much more interesting Boba Fett than what we got in the Book of Boba Fett. Overall, I give the entirety of this series, I want to give it a 4 out of 10, but I feel nice. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, completely below par. Um, all but two episodes were horrible. Um, the biker gang thing was stupid. The easygoing Boba Fett is dumb. Um, everything was bad. The Vespa biker gang, the Wookiee fight was stupid. All of it, the worst car chase in I don't know Hollywood history. Everything was bad. Everything was bad. Even the huts weren't interesting. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do you feel like maybe the Book of Boba Fett deserves a season two, or do you think, hey, you know what? It was just bad, and do like what we did with mini Netflix series like Cowboy Bebop, and say, hey, it's bad. Let's just end it. Give it a glorious ending, and don't make it continue going on sucking for a couple more seasons. That's the way I look at it. As always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Y'all take care.